Welcome into the weekend sports buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Kelly Patrick here, taking you through your Sunday morning, your Christmas Sunday morning almost, Kelly. A couple days away here. Exciting. I know you're excited. You're a father.
Looking forward to Christmas, certainly.
Very excited.
I am.
Kelly here is just not excited at all, you seem.
Appreciate it if you didn't criticize my excitement for Christmas. It's a very personal issue. On a sports note, couple things to talk about from yesterday. Louisville beat Western Kentucky, I believe, by about 23. Kentucky had a victory also. According to Tyler, Ryan Harrow at his coming out party.
Now, he had his coming out party last Saturday, but this was more of a statement game for Ryan Harrow.
Okay.
Kind of backing up what he did previous week, in my opinion.
And on the Louisville front, I would say that Wayne Blackshear continues his campaign to become legitimate. Yeah, his emergence.
Both of them.
He had 18 points, 8 rebounds last night. So that's big in my opinion. I think that Blackshear becoming one of the go-to options offensively is huge, along with his rebounding and his overall play. He's looking a lot more comfortable out there. I see him. He looked at a certain point yesterday, and I've never said this before, but I saw him in the game, and I thought, looks kind of like Francisco Garcia out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's thinning up, but he's looking a little more comfortable out there with the ball around the backcourt, more of a guard. So that's a great thing for him.
It was a good win for Louisville. Obviously, we attended our guy Mark, the host on Saturday with us, his ugly Christmas sweater party. It was a fun time last night. Mark, if you're listening, appreciate you having everybody over. We got to meet a good former Cardinal, Chad Rimpsey. It was a fun night and all. We got to watch the game. Louisville seemed to just kind of handle Western for the most part. Second half, it kind of had a slight run from Western where they kind of cut it down to around, I believe it was 14 or so, but it was all Louisville from the start, as it was for the Kentucky over Marshall. For the most part, Marshall kept it close for the little bit of the first half. Kentucky gained a little ground, and then it was all Kentucky from there. 2 easy wins yesterday. We're definitely going to talk about that today because we have some good guests lined up, Kelly. Usually our man Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine joins us on Saturday. He was a little busy yesterday. It's the holiday times, no problem. He's joining us today, 10:20. You have to stick around and listen to that because not only will we break down, what's going on in the Vite Magazine world, the high school sporting world around the area here, we're going to give away 2 more Harlem Globetrotter tickets. It's January 20th at the Yum Center. I'm not exactly sure which session it is, but it's January 20th at the Yum Center right here in Louisville. We have 2 tickets. We're going to ask another trivia question. We're going to have our man Dave ask that question this time. It's going to be a little bit harder than our last one. I know we had Hink win the Troy Jackson question.
Troy Escalade Jackson.
Yeah, Troy
was
Escalade
the answer
Jackson.
to the question last week.
It was good. Congrats to Hink. I know he's going to take his son out there. So we're going to do another one. That's at 10:20. Of course, our man Farrell Elliott, 11 a.m. KFF SC Commissioner Fantasy Football. I believe this is the last weekend of the main event, Kelly. We're not going to win this. Neither is Matt or Brad. But there's a few guys. I talked to Farrell yesterday. There's about 8 to 10 guys who could win this, and it's not your little $100, $400 or $500 base money. This is $7,500 if you can win. That's a big event. I mean, these guys came from all over the world, so we're going to talk to Farrell about that and who he thinks could win. And 11:20, WHA's 11 sports guy Adam Lefkoe is going to join us. And we're going to talk Battle of the Bluegrass because he did a great. If there's one guy that does great work with the 2 rivalries, putting little stories together. It's Adam Lefkoe.
Yeah,
so.
He's not really from the area, but he takes a real kind of unique perspective on it, I think.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, he's got a nice...
Because if I did it, it would definitely be UK slated.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous.
No, but honestly, anybody who grew up around here and, has an allegiance would obviously be, have their own allegiance.
I think he's a Syracuse guy, so maybe we can ask him what happened yesterday to his... Orangeman losing to Temple. I actually predicted that on the D. Huff and Nasty show yesterday. Nasty, if you're listening up there, I'm sorry your Syracuse people went down, but I called it. Anyways, let's see here, Kelly.
What else is on the line? I'm sorry.
384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Buzz line. That's on the line. If you want to call us and get in there, do so. And 414-1450, the Lotus Gunworks text line. Shoot us a text. We'll read that right over the air. It's going to be a fun show today. What do you want to talk about first? You want to go straight into the
one thing I don't think we've mentioned that I think's huge. I'm a Bengals fan. If the Bengals win today, they make the playoffs for the second time in a row. Second year in a row, which is huge. That doesn't happen for Bengals fans.
Last year was a wild card. This year, would it be division? Or would it be a wild card position?
I believe they would win the division.
I believe so, too. You know, they started out the season, I believe, 3-0. Then they had a little stretch that they lost.
It would not be. I'm sorry, it would not be the division because Baltimore is ahead of them.
Baltimore's ahead of them, regardless.
But there's still statistically a way that they could end up actually winning the AFC North. So you know, this isn't the last game of the year. There's a couple games after this.
Think about the turn. Their up and down season. 3 or 4 wins to start the season.
And they were hot. They were
hot. Then they were not hot. Maybe one of the worst teams on the NFL for a 4-week stretch. They couldn't win. And now 4 wins in a row. They're back there, going to make the playoffs. Congrats to the
amazing.
Bengals. I know
they lost their first game, then they won 3 in a row, then they lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then they won 4 in a row. And then they lost last week.
Up and down.
And then they beat Philadelphia. Then they got Pittsburgh today.
Rivalry
and
game.
Baltimore next week. So technically they beat Pittsburgh. Then they beat Baltimore. They could win the AFC North still.
Is the game? Where is the game at? It's at Pittsburgh.
It's at Pittsburgh.
Big Ben is supposed to play, if I'm correct.
A lot of crazy stuff going on with the Pittsburgh
Rivalry
Steelers.
game.
You know, Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator, former Chiefs head coach, is now the offensive coordinator of the Steelers, and Roethlisberger's kind of having some problems with him.
Except
Communication
that
issues.
his stats are better offensively, his passing efficiency under Haley than it is in over his last 4 or 5 years with his previous coordinator.
Huh.
I was interested to hear that.
I didn't know that. That's very interesting. I know that Roethlisberger has been vocally critical, you know, in the,
very critical
with the press. Said that he thinks they should be running more no huddle type situations. They blew the game. Let's see, I think it was last week. They blew it at the end, and it seemed that they should have had no huddle type offense going on. Didn't happen, and he opened up. I mean, hopefully we're catching them when they're kind of in turmoil. It was against the Cowboys last week.
Well, since we started NFL, let's just kind of stick on that for a few minutes here. I mean, we had a game last night. It was what they were calling the final Monday night football game on Saturday night, and it was between obviously the one of the best teams, if not the best teams in the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons versus Detroit Lions, in which we saw a record be taken down. Kelly, 17 years a record has been held, and it's no longer.
We had Megatron, Calvin Johnson, Brad Steen's first-round draft pick.
Yep.
He was adamantly
great pick
for the idea of picking him. In hindsight, it was a great pick.
Great pick.
I was critical of it.
Very critical.
But yeah, he broke the record of Jerry Rice. So I mean, what he's doing, you know, Atlanta, Detroit. They are 4-11, not the best season. They're having a very disappointing season. But I mean, to break one of Jerry Rice's record is huge. Jerry Rice, arguably the best player offensively in the history of the NFL.
1,848 yards for Jerry Rice. It was held for 17 years. It was set back in 1995, and now Megatron, 1,892. I believe he has another game to go. It doesn't seem the Lions will. So he could extend this out a little bit more. Think about that, Kelly. He is only 108 away from 2,000 receiving yards. You think he'll get it? I think he will.
I would say so.
He seems to always go over 100, touchdown or not. I think Megatron is going to set that 2,000 and be the first guy to break the 2,000 barrier.
Not only is he going to break that, it looks like, he's also kind of breaking the Madden curse.
Yeah, that's very true. About time. He was on the cover this past season, 2K Madden 13, and yeah, he broke the curse. I totally forgot about that.
So, I mean, I guess we can officially say it was a coincidence. There's no actual extra.
We also have
extra, terrestrial or magical curse going on.
No magical curse. Adrian Peterson, playing later on today, has a chance to also set a record, a long-time record. We talked about this last week, coincidentally. Eric Dickerson holding the rushing record for a season. Well, Adrian Peterson, coming off a ACL surgery 8 months ago, is attempting. He has 2 games to go for, I believe, 240-something yards to break this record. That would be insane. We just see the all-time receiving records in the season go down and the all-time rushing record in the season go down in the same year.
I think our man Chad Rimpsey last night made some good points when discussing this. And the rules have been changed in a way that benefit offenses. The defense is, if you hit somebody the wrong way, you're going to get fined James Harrison, stuff like that. So I think that the rules are much more conducive to offensive players really especially receivers and quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Adrian Peterson, you could say maybe feeds off of that. Adrian Peterson, I think, in my opinion, what he's doing is more impressive because I do think that Calvin Johnson is benefiting from an era that
Minnesota
specifically has a set agenda to increase the scoring and the explosiveness of high-powered offenses. So I think that what Calvin Johnson is doing is great and is amazing. I still think Jerry Rice is a better player.
I think we can all agree Jerry Rice is possibly the best. He's definitely the best receiver in history of NFL, in my opinion, if not one of the top 5 players in the NFL history. Megatron's up there, though. Look what he's done the past couple of seasons. Look what he does on the field.
Physically,
he's a lot bigger than Jerry Rice, too.
Yeah.
You can't take any credit away from what he's done, though, this season. It's huge. But, yeah, I think we're both on a page of Jerry Rice is a better overall receiver. Megatron, though, he's making a name.
Great. He's great.
Is he a Hall of Famer when he retires?
Sure.
Easy.
Yes.
Easy. He's one of the best in history.
His career ends right now or something.
Adrian Peterson, though, going to break that record, that's awesome. I hope that happens today, so catch that. We're going to talk to Farrell a little bit more about that at the 11 o'clock hour. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln buzz line there. Since we got just a minute left before we got to hit that break, Kelly, I just want to hit our birthdays early today. I don't know why. Maybe I do know. Matt, I need you to get near the mic because this one kind of involves you. You're getting up there. Jim Harbaugh first, Kelly, sticking on NFL. Jim Harbaugh's birthday day, 1963. Greg Biffle, NASCAR guy. Algie Crumper. Remember Algie?
Tight end for the Falcons. He was part of the what do they call it with T.J. Duckett, Warren Sapp, Work done. T.J. Duckett and Michael Vick and Crumpler. No, not Allstott. He was Tampa Bay.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, sorry.
But those 2 running backs, Crumpler and Vick, they had it going on for a while. He was really good tight end, and I think he may still be playing.
Henry Ramirez, a high dollar paid shortstop for the Dodgers now. Matt, you there? Okay, we got Matt. Paul Horning's birthday today.
Yes,
I believe Mr. Horning is related to Matt McCarthy.
Yeah, he's like my second or third cousin or something.
Now, when's the last time you've seen him? Or ever?
I don't know if I've ever seen him.
See,
my dad's seen him a couple times.
That's right. That's what I thought it was. Your dad was a stud athlete back in the day, wasn't he? Along with Paul.
He was, man. College baseball player. Played for St. X High School in football, baseball.
There you go. Yeah, I had to bring Matt in the mix there because Paul Horning related to you. I see where you got your slim bit of athletic ability on the football field.
That's right.
That's right. And, of course, our video show is going on right now. KentuckySports.co/TV. ePostVox has doing a great job getting our video going. Highlights, doing it all. We're not calling him Adam Intern. That's just lame.
Adam, you want to say a little something here? We appreciate everything you do for us, ePostVox. Would you say?
Adam, grab the mic.
Introduce yourself. Come on.
Adam's been on here before. I want to ask Adam.
He's a little shy.
Adam has about 5,000 followers on YouTube. Is that correct?
Yep.
Now, when we say ePostVox, people are probably like, what the hell are they talking about? We're not calling him Adam the Intern because ePostVox is, what does that mean, Adam?
It's Latin for epic voice.
Epic voice, and he is known around the internet world and his YouTube. He's got tons of subscribers, Twitter, as ePostVox.
I think we should kind of give the stage to Adam or to ePostVox. Let him talk a little and let everybody hear his epic voice. I mean, Adam, tell us what you do. Why do people follow you on YouTube? Yeah. Why do you have so many Twitter followers?
Because I play video games and talk with lots of bass.
Exactly. That's all it is.
And it's a good sounding voice. You can't, it is.
That's why he reads our lines. It's great. Well, we had to bring ePostVox in the mix real quick. Appreciate you jumping on the mic. Let's go to our first break here. We're going to come back and talk UK, U of L, the basketball games, and let's start talking about next week because next weekend is huge. Next Tuesday is huge for you and the Card Nation. We'll be right back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl.
We're back here at the Weekend
Santa
Sports
baby.
Buzz.
So how
1450
does
a.m. Check us out on
that treat
1450tosportsbuzz.com. We are always presented to you by livingforless.org. Get on livingforless.org and check them out. Great half-off deals, 50% off, 40% off. There's a $40 value right now, Kelly, going for $15 to a lot of different places like Roosters, Boom Boss Pizzas. I know it's a little chilly out right now, but it'll probably be warm in a few days. There's golf outings rates on there. You can probably get a course that pay you to come play golf right now off livingforless.org. You can seriously get on there, check it out. You will save yourself a lot of money in the long run. I mean, no reason not to save money. And of course, we'll just go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline because we're going to bring on our man Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine right now. Dave, good morning to you.
Hey, happy holidays, fellas. How you doing?
We're doing great. Glad to have you on. I know it's usually have Dave on Saturday, but it is holiday time, so no big deal. Bringing Dave on right now, and it's going to be a special segment. Obviously, we're going to talk Vite Magazine, high school sports around the area, but at the end of this segment, right before Dave gets off, we're going to allow him to ask a trivia question for everybody to give away 2 Harlem Globetrotter tickets for January 20th at the Yum Center. Dave, we're glad to be able to give those away thanks to you and Vite Magazine.
And we're happy to do that. And we sent our winner last week, his off to him, so hopefully he's got that in time for a stocking stuffer if he wanted, and we'll do the same today.
That's going to be great news. Let's start off a little bit with some high school sports first. Again, Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine. First off, I want to go with a little bit of football quickly. James Quick was just recently announced Mr. Football here in Kentucky, a guy you saw probably play 10 times this year. Not very much expected, but congrats to Mr. Quick.
Yes, he pretty much cleaned up, didn't he? He got the Paul Hornung Award. He got the Gatorade Player of the Year in Kentucky, and then Mr. Kentucky in football. I mean, just an amazing career.
Yes.
We could go on and on about the things he's accomplished during his high school career, and now the next step is January 5th. He's going to announce during that Army All-Star football.
Yeah,
game.
he also won the Paul.
Down to 2, Ohio State and Louisville. Oregon and Tennessee are off the map now, so it's final 2.
He also won the Paul Hornung Award, which is today is Paul Hornung's birthday, kind of coincidentally.
Yeah. See, I'm old enough to remember Paul Hornung playing, and let me tell you, he was one of a kind. He knew how to have fun, and he knew how to play sports, and you don't see too many guys like that anymore.
Totally agree.
Dave, in the break, I was actually pointing out that Paul Hornung is one of 3 guys to win the Heisman Trophy and then go on to be the first pick in the NFL draft, along with Earl Campbell and O.J. Simpson. So, obviously he was a very successful coming out of his college career. Dave, one question I will ask you about the James Quick situation is this, kind of a political question. You said it. You said that he's now announced, he won Mr. Kentucky football. Mm-hmm. Then coincidentally, he said, I'm cutting my list right after that. So Kentucky's no longer on his list.
Yep.
What do you think of the theory, Dave, that in order to win Mr. Kentucky, you have to have Kentucky on your list?
Well, that's interesting that it's not, but that's what I'm hearing, that it's down to the Cardinals and the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it is. He cut that list. I mean, it's just I know what Kelly's getting to here. And we had
a conspiracy. I'm
Dave,
telling you guys, everybody's out to get us.
We had a long conversation with a couple guys last night, Mark included, from Saturday's show. Now, there's a big theory going around that, if you don't have UK on your list, you won't win Mr. Football. So I guess that's what Kelly was wondering. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think that is true. If you go back and look at past recruits, I guess that's the only way you could tell. Anyways, congrats to James Quick on winning that award. Dave, what's going on in the basketball world right now? I know I have your top 10 up, and it seems we have a new number 1, Bullitt East.
Well, let me tell you, since that came out on Monday, there has been so much basketball that's been played and so many wins and losses by these teams. It's gonna have a brand new look Monday morning when this list comes out. But Bullitt East has had a good week. They did fall to that Christ Presbyterian
That's right.
team that's here in town. in the King of the Bluegrass, and there's really no shame in that. Those guys obviously are very, very talented. They had knocked off Trinity earlier in the week, too. So now our local team, Ballard, gets a shot at them in the finals of King of the Bluegrass. So that'll be a fantastic matchup. I hope Ballard's got something left in them after their big win over Madison Central last night.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Snyder played a fantastic game.
I'm looking at the schedule for today.
That'll be a really good one tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm sure you have you been out there for the initial events.
You know, I'm ashamed to say I have not. I have been so busy with Christmas this week. Gonna have a house full of relatives today, and just been trying to keep up with it on TV and radio and computer. But I have not been out to Fairdale to see any of that action, and it's killing me because
it's a great event.
Really good games.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking at the schedule for today, Dave. It looks like at 3 p.m. we have Collins versus South Shore. 4:30 p.m. we have Hopkinsville versus here Trinity of Louisville. 6 p.m. the third place game, Madison Central versus Bullitt East, and then 7:30, like you mentioned, the championship game, Christ Presbyterian versus Ballard. That should be a great game because Ballard just actually took on another top team, and they're a very talented team. So Quentin Snyder, Louisville commitment, Kelly, I know you're excited. So get out there to Fairdale High School if you want to catch the finals of the King of Bluegrass. We also have the Queen of Bluegrass going on, Dave.
I'm sorry, say again. Your microphone's getting a little scratchy on me.
I said we also have the Queen of Bluegrass going on as well, if I'm correct.
Oh, Queen of the Bluegrass, yes. How about those Butler Bearettes? They had a big win over Manual, and then a little controversy last night in their win over Ballard. I don't know if you saw that, but they had 0.1 seconds left on the clock. And, the rule, I guess, is you don't have time to catch a ball and shoot it when there's 0.1. You have time to tip it. And
yes.
It was a judgment call by the ref, and, he said it was good. So, Butler, congratulations, winners of the inaugural Queen of the Bluegrass.
Yeah, that's a great thing. I did not know it was the inaugural. I thought there was one before, so that was news to me as well. So, congrats to Butler Bulldogs there. Again, Dave Spelker, Vipe Magazine is currently on the line. Get on to Vipe Greater Louisville. That would be iHigh.com/Vipe Louisville to check it out. There's a lot of stuff on here right now, Dave. I'm looking down the main list here, and there's just blog after blog after blog updated. We got a holiday celebration at the Shawnee Benefits. Like you said, your top 10 from Monday. Sam Swope, the Queen of Bluegrass update. I mean, if you want to look at high school news, you get on the Vipe websites. It's not just here in Louisville, it's Southern Indiana. It's all nationally as well. You can pick them up at Kroger, Dick's Sporting Goods, all the local schools in the area, libraries in the area. It's a fun magazine. I have the newest issue, the basketball one, which was released last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's a good issue. So definitely need to get out there and get out. Dave, what's going on in Vipe, though, coming up maybe this upcoming month, this next issue, or right now? Is Vipe going to be out at any events?
Next issue will be our year in review, and that's always a fun one to do. We go back and kind of recap all the sports and what happened, in 2012. And, I've been helping writing some of the little sections on that, and it's just the athletes we have in this area are amazing. The talent pool in all the sports is just, it's so much fun, and there's just good kids around, and we love doing the stories on, not only the best athletes, but, just the kids that we have and the volunteer work that they do and the accomplishments they make in the classroom. It's I have one of the best jobs in the world, I think, to be able to talk to these kids and report on them and tell the rest of the community about what's going on. So yeah, January would be year in review. A lot of good pictures, good stories, and we're looking forward to that one. That'll probably be out about the second week of January or so. That'll be good. So everybody needs to definitely get on there, pick it up, or you can get online, Dave. You can actually look at the magazine right online if you can't make it out to a store or a library or a school. You can just get online and look at it. The internet, right. It's sure great. And you can look at the back issues too. If there's photos in there that somebody sees, there's my grandson or there's my cousin. Give us a call. We can help get you those photos. Exactly. So again, it's Dave Spelker, Vipe Magazine. Dave, before we let you go, though, we have the special time now. It's Harlem Globetrotters tickets giveaway time.
we did this last week. Again, our man Hink won the tickets. This week we have a new question. We're going to allow Dave to ask that. The tickets, January 20th at the Yum Center, right?
January 20th at the Yum Center. That's correct. Versus the Washington Generals.
It's always a fun time. I remember when I was a kid getting out to the Globetrotters events. Kelly, I'm sure you've been to one or two in your days too. They're fun times.
It is. It's a good afternoon of entertainment for the whole family. And Vipe, with your help, is wanting to give away a couple more tickets. So are you ready for the trivia question?
I think we're ready, Dave. Go ahead and go for it.
All right. And you guys then will take callers and follow up with me, and I'll make sure that they get them ASAP.
Exactly.
So here's the question. Who is the first NBA basketball player to break a glass backboard?
That's a very interesting question.
The first NBA basketball player to break a glass backboard.
That is going to be a fun question, Dave. It's gonna, maybe a little research for the listeners out there. If you know the answer, if you find the answer, give us a call. We are live until noon, 384-1450 on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. We'd love to give away those tickets. Again, the question is, who was the first NBA player to break a glass backboard? Dave, if I'm correct, a Celtic. If for a hint, he was a former Celtic.
Yes. That's a good first clue. And if some folks struggle and need some more help, I think I'll give you some other clues off air, and you can throw those out too.
That sounds great. So, again, if anybody knows the answer to the question, who was the first NBA player to break a glass backboard, give 384-1450 a call. Give us the answer, and you win 2 Harlem Globetrotters tickets. Dave, we appreciate the question. We appreciate you and Vipe Magazine, as always, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and, of course, have a Merry Christmas.
Well, back at you. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys. We love the show, and we appreciate everything 1450 does for the high school communities in southern Indiana and Kentucky, and just hope to continue it next year. So have a good one, guys.
You too, Dave. So a very tough question this
week. It is. It's a question that I immediately said, I know that. I had an answer immediately.
Don't say what you thought.
I'm not going to say what I thought, but I was wrong. I was confident. I in a very cocky way, I said, I know that. I know that.
You actually did do that, too.
I did, cocky. Yeah. I was very cocky about
when
it.
I asked Dave,
I thought that I knew.
When I asked Dave, he said that is probably the most popular answer that is given. I guess he's maybe used this before. It's a good question. It's definitely going to take some research. Again, the question is, who was the first NBA player to break a glass backboard? NBA player to break a glass backboard. And our first hint is he was a former Boston Celtic.
One of the things we talked about there was that James Quick was Mr. Football in the state of Kentucky. I was doing a little research here, looking at the most recent guys who were on the list. Last year it was Patrick Tolles.
Yes.
A legend of our show. We had a great interview with him very early on. Also, Lamar Dawson, the year before, 2010, at Boyle County. He ended up going to USC, playing for the Trojans. I did a little research. Mm-hmm. I said, I remember him. I remember we lost him.
He starts. He's talented.
Yeah, see, I looked into that, and sure enough, he played in 11 out of 12 games this year for USC, and he is 4th on the team in tackles with a total of tackles of 74. So he's really contributing to USC, who next year, every year, a team like USC should be really good. So
Kelly, I think we have a caller already.
Okay.
Maybe a question, maybe just want to talk a little sports. Daniel's on the line. Daniel, good morning.
Hey, after hearing you all talk, I think I got the answer wrong. I just researched. I'm going to say Chuck Connors.
Boom! You nailed it. Was that your initial guess?
No, I was going to go with Chocolate Thunder, but then I heard you guys talk, and I quickly ran in on the computer and researched it.
Wow, I'm impressed.
I'm very impressed.
I said Chocolate Thunder immediately too.
Yeah.
That's the first inclination. So, what did you find when you researched this and found it? Tell us what it says online. I wasn't able to find it that quickly. What does it say about how it happened, Daniel?
Well, I didn't even read it. I was so concerned about getting the call or getting the research in before you called me. I just saw Chuck Connors, and I didn't read anything else about it.
Well, I got it right here. Obviously, Daniel nailed it. I mean, we don't even – if you want to call, we still want you to call and talk about it. He nailed the answer. It was who was the first NBA player to break a glass backboard? Chuck Connors, 1946 with the Celtics. Here's how he did it. in pregame warm-ups, he took a set shot, and because the arena maintenance guy had not installed the rim pad, the shot actually shattered the backboard. It wasn't even on a dunk. He also played pro baseball and was most famous for his acting in a TV show called The Rifleman. Just throwing some stats out there.
Yeah, I watch The Rifleman every once in a while. It's on a retro TV channel, 188 on Insight.
I might have to check that out then sometime. See Chuck Connors. Well, Daniel, we appreciate you calling in, getting the answer right. If you want to stick on the line for a second, we'll have our man Douglas at the studio get your information, and we'll get Dave to send those tickets over to you. Hopefully, maybe before Christmas. Hopefully.
Certainly, Dave will get right on that.
Can I say one thing about the game last night?
Yeah,
Yes, you can.
That Russ Smith dunk was sick. I jumped and screamed as loud as I have since little Eddie hit that shot, heard around the Commonwealth. That was such an exciting play.
Yeah, that was definitely an ESPN top 10 type of play. When we saw that, I even, as the Kentucky fan, was like, that was awesome. I know Kelly, the dunk was just, he threw it down. I mean, what do you think about the game coming up this weekend, Daniel? UK U of L.
What do I think? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What do I think about the UK game coming up?
Yeah, the UK U of L game, the Battle of the Bluegrass.
Oh, well, I'm a U of L fan. I think they can win without Gorgie. I think our experience in backcourt and pressure defense is going to overwhelm the UK guards. And I think the Yum Center, hopefully, I'm sure will be full. But, one thing about that game in Bowling Green last night, that lower level was filled with extremely loud, rowdy fans, which you never see in the Yum Center. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping our home court advantage can help us too. I think it'll rattle the young UK players.
Yeah, you might be correct. If you are, I don't know exactly what I'm thinking. I know, Kelly, what you're thinking about the game. But Daniel, we really appreciate the call. Stick on the line so you can give Douglas your information, my man.
Good caller there. Daniel was very
Nailed it.
serious about we said, give us your description. And he said, I don't have a description. I was so serious about doing my research. All I found was the answer, and I called in immediately. I like the enthusiasm from Daniel.
First caller nailed it. We had a few people on the line. They they didn't get to apologize. If y'all want to call in and talk maybe about UK U of L, please do so. The 384-1450. But again, Dave, I know you're listening. We'll get you the information and get Daniel, the winner of the Harlem Globetrotter tickets, those tickets, and enjoy yourself a January 20th event at the Yum Center.
I got to say, my favorite part of talking about sports might be trivia.
It's fun.
I know that you remember last night I saw that San Diego State was playing against San Francisco, mm-hmm. and I said, who's the most famous athletic alums from each of those schools? And our man Mark Blankenbaker nailed it. He said,
away.
He said Marshall Falk and Bill Russell.
Nailed it.
So I love that.
It's like he had it in a book right there. And another thing we saw during the game, I know a lot of Louisville fans probably saw this that watched the Western game. Little Rick Pitino at Hawaii. How about that?
Yeah.
What was he? It didn't even look like Rick. I was like, hold on.
He was a little thicker.
Who else was involved with him on the staff? Was it Ray Harper?
I don't think it was. I was.
You were just freaking out.
I was like, why did they just show that?
Okay.
Because I was a little caught up in the social aspect of the ugly sweater party.
Well, Kelly,
I was like, whoa, let's rewind that. And I was wondering if there was maybe a connection that I had missed from Ray Harper to Rick Pitino, but I don't think there was. If there is anything out there, a listener has some insight about what they were talking about last night, call us, 384-1450.
Or shoot us a text, 414-1450. We're about to hit our break here. Before we do so, our Today in Sports History, Kelly, we'll nail this real quick. An update this morning. Don't know if you saw it. 1994, baseball owners imposed a salary cap finally, fiercely opposed by the players. I think it needs to be imposed some more because the outrageous contracts in baseball these days are absurd, in my opinion. Like Josh Hamilton's 5 years, $125 million. How do you get that? I don't know. I think there should be a salary cap on contracts, something like that.
I think you could still level the playing field, and this is a whole can of worms.
We're Reds fans.
Yeah.
We're at the lower middle of the salary cap hole around the money, and look what we're doing.
Yeah, you can make it work.
You can make it work. Look at the Giants. They have some cash. Maybe not the most like the Yankees and Red Sox, but they're not as bad as the Reds. They've won a couple World Series. Look at the Yankees. Paying to win World Series. They haven't won one since 2001.
No, they won it more recent than that.
2008. Regardless, though, I think there should be something on the salary cap.
No, it's not an even playing field. It's a very controversial topic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we open up this can of worms. We could talk about it all day.
Summer topic.
Regardless of what you say, you can be strategic and have a lower salary or lower budget, but that doesn't mean that everyone's equal. That's my opinion on
I
it.
agree.
So I think they need to even it.
I agree. 1997, one of the best coaches in NBA history, if not one of the best, Chicago Bull head man Phil Jackson was the quickest to get to 500 wins. Kelly, 682 games it took him to get to 500 wins. That's ridiculous. I mean, 500 and 182 record. That's pretty good.
Phil Jackson's an interesting case. You know, he was not a very skilled. He was kind of like a Steven Van Treese type player who made it in the NBA. He rode the bench for the Knicks. He had no offensive skills, and then he wanted to get into coaching, and he actually had to go and coach in the CBA
and he
for
landed
years.
with Jordan and then Kobe and Shaq and Scottie Pippen and Bill Wynn.
I mean, he ended up getting a lot of talent, but his route to getting there was, in my opinion, very interesting.
One more for you. 1972 today was the Immaculate Reception, Kelly. A lot of people would definitely remember that. A lot of Steelers fans here in Louisville. Steelers turns around a 7-6 defeat with a last-second touchdown reception against the Raiders to win 13-7. The Immaculate Reception. Get on the site, get on YouTube and check that out. It was a very interesting final minute of the game. Anyways, this is the Weekend Sports Buzz. I know we hit a break. You have something to say?
I was just going to say my Peter. Our occasional writer, made sure that I mentioned that with the San Diego State University, I said Marshall Faulk was the clear-cut winner for that, and he probably is. He has the most prolific offensive season in the history of the NFL, most yards. We also need to mention our man Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn.
You can't leave him out.
Can't forget Tony Gwynn. It's the Weekend Sports Buzz. We'll be right back.
Think of all the fun I've missed. Think of all the fellas that I haven't kissed. Next year I could be just as good if you check off my...
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Of a white Christmas.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Kelly Patrick, Tyler Bloyd, coming at you every Sunday morning from 1450, the Sports Buzz. Actually, the only locally owned sports radio station in the city. I mean,
great.
That's a big deal if you think about it. And you tune in on the radio, you want to hear what we have to say. You don't want to hear watered-down stuff that's contractually, we're contractually obligated to talk about the so-and-so swimming team or something like that. You get uncut content from us because we associate ourselves with the 1450 The Sports Buzz, the best sports radio station in the city. I'm looking forward to going to New Orleans Tuesday morning, January 1st. I'm going to go early with Peter, actually. And we're going to spend – we don't know how long we're going to be there. We may be there through
you and Peter.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It doesn't matter. So another thing that we were going to mention here is a very sad story. Maybe my favorite player to ever watch for the Cincinnati Reds.
One of the biggest hustlers in the game.
Just the greatest – really one of the best players to watch overall. Ryan Friel passed away yesterday. Mm-hmm. Married.
Sad.
2 children. The report is that he actually passed away as a result of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I mean, just a horrible way to go. Very sad story. Not much to say about that.
Yeah, and you just want to throw it out there. Obviously, like you said, he was a former Cincinnati Red for a few years. The guy was always on the Web Gems. If you ever watched the Baseball Tonight type thing, he was always winning Web Gems awards and whatnot. He was a hustler. Ryan Friel, thoughts, prayers out to his family. I also, get this out there before the top of the hour goes, Kelly. It's December 23rd right now.
Yep.
Couple days till Christmas. I know your family and Matt's family and Epaw's Vox is ready for Christmas. Well, we got something special for you on sendasantaacall.com. You can actually have Santa Claus himself call your child, and I'm sure that every kid would love to have Santa call him, because I know if this was around when I was a younger buck, I would have been super excited. Maybe I'll have him call me anyways, because I'm still a kid at heart. On sendasantaacall.com, you can choose from 3 different types of calls and send your little ones from Santa Claus. For only $4.99, you can have Santa remind your little one to stay on the nice list by selecting the Be Good message and entering a behavior that they need to correct. Visit sendasantaacall.com, enter donation code BBBS, that's for Big Brothers Big Sisters, at the checkout, and a portion of the proceeds will go directly to Big Brothers Big Sisters. That's sendasantaacall.com, or access the site by clicking on the Santa from our website, 1450thesportsbuzz.com, and don't forget to enter BBBS as a donation code at checkout. So, the portions will go directly to Big Brothers Big Sisters, Kelly. That's a great charity program they have there, and of course your little kid will enjoy Santa calling them. A few minutes left here in the top of the hour, 384-1450. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Also want to say, if you want to watch our show that's going on, KentuckySports.co/TV, you will enjoy the show. Adam, or Epaw's Vox, actually has the sendasantaacall.com site up there right now. So get on there, check it out. You'll enjoy it. Kelly, you did mention, UK. Coming up, we're talking fantasy football. But let's go ahead and mention, UK, they beat up Marshall yesterday. You did Ryan Harrow. He had 23 points, I believe, 3 assists, 1 turnover, if I'm correct, a couple rebounds. He played great. He was getting inside and out. Ryan Harrow is finally here. And this has been about 2 weeks or so of this since the last Saturday's game and now this Saturday's game. Same with Bohannon. He has had his last 2 or 3 games, he has finally emerged. It's like both guys that both programs, both fan bases have wanted to finally come, did it at the same time. I mean, how big is that for Louisville and Kentucky to have those type guys? I mean, Kentucky's point guard, everybody knows Kentucky won't go without their point guard. Everybody knows that. Ryan Harrow being there, it makes Kentucky that much better. I know it was still sloppy because this is a true young team. They're still sloppy. They got a lot of work to go with by mid-February, beginning of February, I expect to see what this team is really about for the tournament. But I'm excited for Harrell, as you are, I'm sure, Bohannon. Not Bohannon, Blackshear.
Bohannon and Blackshear.
Well,
you said Bohannon, but he actually had 14 points last night.
Yes. Oh, he played great.
His emergence, in my
opinion,
opinion, Wayne and Shane coming on strong.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the same type of players, but they're both physical guys. And them being able to score. This is a great Louisville team as far as defense, but having those guys emerge, they're legitimate NBA talent. Having someone like that who can score, I agree, is huge. Also, with the Kentucky issue, yeah, Ryan Harrow being able to play, being able to score, being able to set some other guys up on offense is huge. Calipari runs a point guard led team, so I mean, yes, Harrow emerging is huge, and so is, I think, Wayne and Shane.
I think I guess I was saying Bohannon. I meant Blackshear the whole time, but the emergence of Blackshear, that makes Louisville very good. If Blackshear continues to play this way, if Shane, everybody knows what Shane did against Florida in the tournament. He came out in the tournament and played well. He is expected to do that. Blackshear, he was injured. He had moments last season, but now he's officially here. So you can't give any more excuses of he was hurt. He seems to be healthy now, right? He seems to be in shape. Now it's all Blackshear. I mean, this could be the kid that we saw coming out of Chicago, the number one player in Chicago.
Yeah, he won Chicago Player of the Year
over Anthony
Davis, which is amazing.
I still don't believe it, but I know it's true. I still don't. It's crazy, but I love Harrow being there.
This could be the Harrow who, as a freshman in the ACC for North Carolina State.
Yes.
He averaged 9.3 points a game, 3.3 assists. He shot 87% from the free throw line. You know how much I personally...
That's huge.
How much weight I give to how you shoot from the line.
He shot well.
I think that 87% from the line during his freshman season tells me he's a good shooter. Hence the fact that last night for Kentucky, he shot the ball 17 times. He tied Archie Goodwin for the most field goals attempted on the team.
Archie Goodwin also had 10 for 11 free throws. That's a huge upgrade because last week, or 2 weeks ago or so, or I guess I feel like it's been 2 weeks now. We're on this 3-week stretch of 3 games. When we played Baylor, Kentucky should have won. When Kentucky played Baylor, they should have won if it wasn't for obviously ugly mistakes throughout the game. But free throws, they were like 50% free throws throughout the whole game. They missed like 12, 15 free throws. It was ridiculous. That's one thing with Ryan Harrow. That's a huge upgrade. Julius Mays can shoot free throws. Kyle Wilcher needs to shoot the ball well consistently, because if he's on the court, he has to score because his defense is not the best. Everybody knows that. Nerlens Noel, he's hustling like crazy. I love Nerlens Noel. Willie Cauley-Stein and Nerlens Noel on the court yesterday for multiple minutes I love to see. Because when you have two big guys that are all basically 7 foot, plus the Alex Poitras who's 6'8", 6'9", strong and physical, that's tough to mess with for any team in the country down low. And obviously you have a couple good guards up there on top. Louisville and Kentucky, they're not the same team, but they kind of have the same type of issues, and they have the same type of players, in my opinion. They got more than one big guy. They got a lot of big guys that can play different positions, as UK does. I mean, Nerlens and Cauley-Stein can play power forward. Jang's the center, but they have Harrell. He can play center. He's a power forward. They have a couple guards that can mix it in. Kentucky and Louisville are kind of similar, but not similar. It's hard to.
I would compare maybe the X factor at this point. I mean, another thing that I think is relevant is that Harrow played 33 minutes last night, led the team in minutes played. So Calipari knows the value of having a point guard, and he's getting him experience. Yeah. I think the X factor for Kentucky, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Ryan Harrow. And I think for Louisville, we can talk about Wayne and Shane all day long. I still think does Gorgui Dieng play next week?
We'll find out Wednesday.
His parents are going to be in town from Africa to see his first collegiate basketball game. Maybe the first time they've ever seen him play basketball. I don't know that for a fact, but being that he's relatively new to the sport, that may be the case. So he's going to be in town to see the game at the Yum Center against Kentucky. I'm thinking he's got to be playing.
He's going to be reevaluated Wednesday, the day after Christmas, and that will be the final determination if he plays on Saturday. The game's at 4 o'clock, obviously. I saw him yesterday. He was on the bench. He had a small wrist brace on. It wasn't a cast. Maybe for you all. And I'm assuming all Louisville fans definitely assume that UofL wins this game if Jang's there. But what if he's not there, Kelly? Do you think it's more of an open shot, or do you still believe Louisville wins without Jang?
I still will stick with my bet. Matt and I have $50 on it. Louisville will win by 6 or more. because Stephen Van Treese is going to tear New Orleans Noel apart. He's going to break him down. We're going to feed him in the post. He's going to, he's going to catch it. He's going to look around. He's going to either, kind of like Shaq used to do, he's going to hit the open man out on the 3-point line, or he's going to, do his own thing and just drop step dunk on somebody.
Oh yeah, I'm very scared of Pig.
Stephen Van Treese started for Louisville last night at center, whereas Zach Price has been starting. Patino not only didn't start Zach Price at center last night,
he barely played.
Yeah, the first man off the bench for Louisville was, Montrezl Harrell. So Zach Price has not impressed him.
You never know with
He
Patino.
only played 2 minutes last night. Van Treese is clearly, as of right now, the starting center, I think. It'll be an interesting game regardless. Even if we have Gorky, he comes back, he's
Kentucky's
a little rusty.
Kentucky's going to win this game.
You think so?
I think so. We can. I know we're going to break it down next Sunday on the show, but next Saturday with Mark. But we got to hit this break. We're at the top of the hour. We got to get to Farrell Elliott, talk a little bit about the final week of the fantasy football at KFFSC.com, and then 11:20 through the rest of to the 12 o'clock hour. We're going to talk Louisville, Kentucky. We might start talking about the Battle of the Bluegrass because Adam Lefkoe is going to join us, WHS 11 Sports. Anyway, stick with us. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write, may your days be merry.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Being brought in by some nice Christmas jingles to each segment here.
What's
Good
your favorite
stuff.
Christmas movie?
Bad Santa.
Bad Santa, Christmas Vacation, right here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a very festive season around the Weekend Sports Buzz crew. So, we have our man Farrell Elliott on the line with us to talk about fantasy football.
No, we don't.
Not on the line yet. He'll be on with us in a minute. I know that I'm not in the fantasy football playoffs in any of my leagues. I'm in 3 leagues. I made it in.
You were 12-1.
Yeah, I finished the season, I think, 11-2, actually. In
And
one of
you
my,
didn't make it, did you?
No, I made it to the playoffs, obviously.
You got beat.
Got beat in the first round. I got a bye, and then I got knocked out by a guy who was sub 500.
That's never good.
Is that fun? That
That's
is
awesome.
not fun.
That makes
No.
me happy.
I'm glad that makes you happy.
Yeah,
It does not make me happy. We'll have our man Farrell on with us shortly.
Just a second.
To break down some of the
I saw Farrell
fantasy
yesterday.
football stuff.
I saw Farrell yesterday. He's opening up a new store in the mall. I love talking to Farrell. I haven't seen him since our fantasy draft we had for the KFFSC back in, July? When was that?
It was
June.
I believe it was July.
June, July. It was a while ago. I think we got him on the line. Farrell Elliott. You there, Farrell?
I am here, fellas. Since July, when we started the radio show, we haven't had a technical glitch. We finally had one. Can you believe it?
I know. We finally had one. It was bound to happen one time, but who cares? We got you on the line. Farrell Elliott, KFFSC commissioner. That's Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship League. This is the big day, Farrell, the main event, the championship.
You know, you guys take a look at the leaderboard from last night. The Atlanta-Detroit game positioned owners to move up the leaderboard. It's all been shuffled again, and it just shows you how close our competition is. Last week when we spoke, I said we had 15 guys that might still win it. The number now moves up to 25.
Wow.
Players or teams are bunching up towards the front. You know, guys, anybody that has been in business all year with Falcons tight end Tony Gonzalez, their luck ran out on them last night. Only one catch for the Pro Bowl tight end. But wasn't that some kind of game with Ryan and Roddy White? Just the performances that were all over the field.
I mean, obviously, the Falcons are great, Farrell. They're a great team, but I guess the story of their final Monday night game on Saturday night was Calvin Johnson, Megatron, breaking Jerry Rice's record.
Calvin. One of the things I love about him is the yards after the catch. How he piles on those yards after the catch, and Coach Gruden made a commentary last night in the game that record is somewhat cheapened because he makes a lot of catches when the team's not in contention. And Coach doesn't have a memory that when Jerry Rice entered the league, the 49ers weren't exactly the primary team in the league. That came later. So, it is what it is. He makes contributions. He's the number one receiver in all of football, and you have to look at that. He's just an incredible athlete, and we're lucky to have him playing at such a high level, and I just hope he continues in good health.
I got a question for you kind of on that topic. Jerry Rice had 7,866 reception yards after 6 seasons. Megatron currently has 7,764 in his 6th season. Will Johnson break Jerry Rice's all-time record of 22,895 yards?
Oh, fellas, I have no idea. He's healthy. He's like we say, he makes those yards after catch. If you guys remember Jerry Rice, he would oftentimes catch the ball and head to the sideline and step out of bounds.
Yeah.
There are 2 different types of players playing in really 2 different in 2 different generations of players. And, records are made to be broken, so he certainly could.
I mean, that would be crazy. There's some background noise there. It's gone now, whatever it was. E-Pause walks. Farrell, fantasy today, we had the game last night. It's going on. I'm not in the position of the KF. I've never been in a part of this league where I would be in the championship. I don't know what I would do in this situation. I seriously wouldn't. I'd be freaking out because, I'm always playing one bad team. Like we were talking yesterday, Farrell, when I saw you, one defensive maneuver can drop you from contention to being totally out. I mean, what do you do on this final week?
You mean how do the players prepare for
Yes,
such
yes.
a big weekend?
Yes.
It's a situation, guys. You'll see a lot of veteran owners there, and I watched them move in and out of their roster. So last night, Brad Cruz out of Detroit. Brad's a great player from the state of Michigan. He's currently in second place in the league. He changed his lineup about 5 or 6 times, which tells me that he's thinking of it constantly. And I suppose if you're in the situation and playing for what these guys are playing for this weekend, it's constantly on your mind. He ended up making the right decision as he put in Detroit running back Bell and got 18 points, and I think he was satisfied with that. That's basically what everybody's concentrating on is their last player on the roster, that old flex position. Who's going to do it? Who's going to have it? And, Cruz is in. Cruz is one of the guys that can rest assured with his decision. Now he's just got to hope that all his regular players turn up and don't do a Tony Gonzalez from last night.
Yeah, it's a good point. Now, is there a guy maybe out there that's on somebody's depth chart that's they may want to start in this final, like the Week 16, that they might want to replace a bigger name with?
Man, I don't know. I think with injuries and the way the rosters have come about this year, I think everybody's pretty much got some easy decisions to make, except for that flex position. It's between 2 similar players, and it depends on the matchup individually. Now, league-wide, if you're a fantasy owner and you're playing in your basement league and you're looking for some guys to start, believe it or not, guys, Kansas City Chiefs, Jonathan Baldwin, wide receiver. There's a deep sleeper. Somebody's got to catch the ball today.
Yeah.
And Baldwin has been challenged to step up and be a player in this offense. He's basically playing for a job in a position for next year. Matt Forte, of course, he'll be in everyone's lineup. If he's on your team, you're going to play him. But I think you can suspect a real great performance from Forte this weekend.
What do you think about the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh matchup?
Cincinnati-Pittsburgh matchup is the one that I've really been waiting for all year, and it was because of something. It was because of different reasons. I expected both teams to be playing at top notch, coming together in a stellar form. Now, I really don't know what to expect from either offense, so it's sort of a mystery game. I suppose that both teams expect to somehow move forward in the playoffs. With Pittsburgh, I don't know if they can or not.
Yeah, I know Kelly is excited about that game. We talked about it earlier. Big Ben possibly playing again. Bengals making the playoffs possibly. I know, Kelly, you'll try to get up there this season, won't you?
Yeah, if they make the playoffs, I'm going to have to make it up there, and hopefully they'll play in Cincinnati at some point, get to see it. Bengals are still technically in it to possibly win, not only make the playoffs, but they could still win the AFC North as they play the Steelers today and then the Ravens next week, which would just be amazing.
Yes, it would. It's great to have something to play for, and it's great to control your own destiny. The New York Giants essentially have to win out. The Minnesota Vikings have to win out and have the Giants win out. It's the great thing about playing fantasy football, guys, is when you look over the moves that you made, and we all made them, you guys back in August, and I made some boneheaded ones that sure looked smart when I made them.
Mm-hmm.
We sit there in a situation where we say, I can now see what exactly went wrong, and I know what to do next year. It gives you some empathy for the front offices and the coaches in the NFL. Everybody knew that certain players were going to have a great, great year, and it just didn't work out that way.
I totally agree. Again, Farrell Elliott, KFFSC.com, Fantasy Football Commissioner. Kelly and I are about to be sophomores in the KFFSC.com league, Farrell. What should we do now? Well, I mean, we're down and out. I told you this yesterday, but like we said, fantasy football never ends. What do us and the other 175, 80 people preparing for next season need to do?
Finish with a flourish. Go out with a big memory of fantasy football with a big game this weekend, guys, and then come back, and I'll let you go by telling you this. Look at these rosters. Look at them finished in the top of this league. Count up the way their roster is put together. How many running backs? How many receivers? Quarterbacks? What kind of combination of players did they use? in regards to certain places geographically? Did they have guys that played indoors versus guys that came from cold weather places? Look at all those things, and then go get you some New England Patriots and Atlanta Falcons next year, because they're going to score you some points.
That sounds great, Farrell. Well, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a good holiday, and we'll be talking to you next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson, still about 300 yards away from Eric Dickerson's NFL single-season record.
2 games left.
2 games left. He needs to average, I think it's 147 yards a game over these last 2 games to break the record. He's obviously only 188 yards shy of the 2,000 mark. So regardless, it looks like, being that he's on a streak of, I think he has 8 games in a row with at least 100 yards rushing, Adrian Peterson's going to end up going down as one of the best running backs in the history of the NFL. I mean, watching him, he's like a deer. He's amazing.
He is amazing. He's super strong, super fast. We're about to hit our break, so we can go to talk to Adam Lefkoe of WHAS 11. Before I do so, just quick little hitters to lead into the Battle of the Bluegrass talk we're going to do for the final 35, 40 minutes of the show. Kentucky baseball polls came out, the preseason collegiate poll. UK number 8, U of L number 22. Both teams ranked in the top 25 there. Both teams have good ball clubs. And as well as the Anthony Davis. I saw this on ESPN over the week. They did a little vote between a couple of their main writers. Anthony Davis was voted the 4th best college player since the year 2000, Kelly.
Wow.
Very interesting to me that, this was by Jason King, and he had, all the local ESPN guys. I'm pulling up this list to show you.
Kevin Durant's got to be on
Kevin
there.
Durant was ahead of him. I believe he was number 3.
Who else would be on there since 2000?
See if you can name a guy. Who do you think is number 1?
I would think Durant would be. What he did his freshman year at Tyler Hansborough's been pretty good.
Tyler Hansborough's on there. And guess where Tyler Hansborough is? He is the number 1 player.
Okay, yeah, because he's
like
just
Tim number 1 and 2.
He's like Tim Tebow. So who would be right ahead of Anthony Davis?
Right. Jay Williams.
Jay Williams.
Jay Williams. He did not vote in this either. Of ESPN.
Wow.
Here he goes, 10-1. Shane Battier, J.J. Redick, Blake Griffin, Michael Beasley, Carmelo Anthony, Jameer Nelson.
Wow.
And then, obviously, the next 4 guys that we just mentioned as my computer
Jameer
dies.
Nelson, huh?
Yes, Jameer Nelson.
He
Crazy.
was really good.
Yeah, there's about 4 Dukies on the list, of course. Anyways, this is the Weekend Sports Buzz. Stick with us. We're going to come back here in a few minutes and talk to Adam Lefkoe of WHAS 11 Sports. Should be a good segment to the Weekend Sports Buzz.
To go gliding in the one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle up around the clock. Mix and a mingle in the jingle.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Kelly Patrick here every Sunday, 10 to noon, 1450 a.m. We're going straight to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line because we got a great guest there waiting for everybody. Adam Lefko of WHAS 11. Adam, good morning.
Good morning to you, fellas. How you living?
You know, we're doing great here, having a beautiful morning. It's holiday times. Christmas is coming up fast. I know Kelly's excited being a family man. How's your holidays around the Lefkos?
Oh, my gosh. Well, let me just say that with it being the week of the UK-U of L rivalry, that it's already a holiday. And
yes.
I think they just plant Christmas and New Year's around the rivalry game, which makes complete sense to me.
It's perfect. Obviously, Adam, you did a great piece last year or so about the rivalry itself. It was excellent work, and I'm pretty sure you're working on another one right now. But what do you think? You came from an outsider's perspective, and now you're in the heart of the Battle of the Bluegrass. What are your thoughts of it when you first initially came in to maybe today?
When I first got here?
Yes.
I think what surprised me the most is I thought it was going to be a state completely divided. And what I meant by that is I thought when I got here, the east part of the state was Cats country, and the western part of the state was Louisville. I thought it was geographical. And I didn't realize how small of a section the Louisville section was.
Yeah.
Area is not only just split into two, it's split really into three in terms of you have the most of the state is Kentucky, and Lexington is their center. There is a part of the state which actually roots for Indiana, and Bloomington is their center.
Yeah.
But Louisville only has Louisville, and its center is somewhat divided with the other two teams, and that's why I think everyone gets so defensive because this is the epicenter of the craziness, the city that we're in right now. And it's wonderful because they talk about it all year round, and I always just appreciated the passion of what it means to be in this week.
Now, I know if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, you are a Syracuse grad?
This is true. Thanks for reminding me about yesterday's game. I appreciate it. That was awful.
Yeah, since we're on that, what happened? Temple always beats a top 10 team. They do it seem every year, but what happened?
What happened is this is what you can get from those Syracuse teams, especially early in the year. Boeheim, hey, look, he has 900 wins. That's great. But the number one knock against him is always, who do you actually play in the beginning of the season? They don't play anybody, so when you play a tough team like Temple, all of a sudden it sneaks up and bites you.
Yeah.
The jury is still out whether this team is for real. I think they'll be fine. And again, they always have a good game with Louisville, so we can bet on that. Now,
since you were from that area, the Northeast, big sports area, obviously, Boston, Syracuse, New England Patriots. What is it like, UK-U of L here, comparable to the sports world up in the Northeast?
In terms of the rivalry game?
Yeah, rivalry, or maybe just the fans going, the hatred towards each other. What's it kind of a hard question to get out there, I guess.
I think if you were going to compare it to the Northeast, I'm just having a hard time hearing you. That's why I'm re-asking these questions. I think if you were to compare it to anything, I'm an Eagles fan, very passionate fan base. They actually remind me somewhat similar to the U of L fan base in that they don't get a lot of respect. They get very upset when they don't get respect. And they look at a team like the Cowboys, who I think they hate the most, and they think of them very similar as the UK fans. And I think the difference is that the people we hate are 3,000 miles away. The people you hate are 74 miles away.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference.
Yeah, I think
you're
you're
dealing
right.
with them on a regular basis.
I think you're dead right. Again, it's Adam Lefko's on the line, WHAS 11.
Adam, looking forward to the game next Saturday. What are your feelings about this game? I know that we're all looking forward to see, will Gorgie Jing play? Will we have to rely, I say we, the Louisville Cardinals, will we have to rely on having Stephen Van Treese as our starting center? That seems to me to be the biggest issue. Is that really the deciding factor of which way this game will go?
I think it's going to be a very interesting year. I think this is the year that Louisville has to win it. But you look at it on paper and you go, they have 2 7-footers. How does this work out with so much injuries on the front line? Don't worry about whether you're getting Gorgie back, because at this point you got to plan for him not to be there. But I think in terms of this game and many games are often determined by guard play, even though we look at the size of people very often. And I think that's the one place that Louisville has just been dominant over everybody thus far. And I think that putting the pressure on Ryan Harrow, I think it was huge for him yesterday to have the kind of performance, to get the confidence that he needs. 23 points, 11 in the first half, a bunch of three-pointers. They need him to be playing well, but also realize this. All these games they've been playing lately, I'm not talking about the competition, have all been at home. Ryan Harrow now has to do that on the road with Russ and Siva in his face. And I don't think Archie Goodwin has enough handles to get the ball to the big guys. Louisville is going to be pressuring a lot. This year, though, it's not to stay in the game, it's to blow out Kentucky.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, I know last year Louisville obviously lost. It was pretty close. I think it was 7. Russ Smith dropped 30 on Kentucky. Do you see that happening this year?
I think if he takes that many shots, Louisville's in trouble. I think Louisville plays as well as they do. Not the last game, but the game before, where they had like 17 assists on 18 made baskets. That's the Louisville that you want to see. I think last year that was Russ kind of doing what was absolutely necessary to stay in the game. And I think if that would happen again, that's a really bad sign for Louisville. Desperate teams need incredible performances. Louisville can use an even-keeled one. I think what you're looking to see more is Wayne Blackshear getting shots, Shane Bohannon going down low. You want to see Shane Bohannon and Montrezl Harrell with at least 8-9 shot attempts by the end of this game, because that means they're getting looks inside. Last year, Shane Bohannon, 3 quick fouls that included that technical.
Yeah.
That changed the game. Let's see what happens when he has an entire game on the court.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of people forget about that. He didn't miss most of the game. Simple question to end the basketball here. Who wins the game?
I'm going to say Louisville, and I'm not going to be one of those TV guys that shies away from it. And the main reason is I think, A, they're at home, and each of these home venues, Rupp and Yum, I think is at least 5-6 points, just in terms of momentum and all that stuff. Secondly, I think that they're a more experienced team. I think they're ready to handle this. I think every year, I can guarantee you, whenever the teams talk this week, you will see sound bites from Kentucky that say, we don't even know about this rivalry at all. Every young team says it. Louisville said it. Kentucky says it. I'm not picking on Kentucky. Louisville, you're going to hear a lot of saying, yes, we know it's going to be crazy, but we're not paying attention to it because they understand what it's going to be like. Mm-hmm. Kyle Wiltshire can only say a certain amount to these kids for them to understand what they're walking into. And I think there will be an adjustment period in the beginning, just like there was in the Notre Dame game when Kentucky came out really slow. If anything, it will be magnified. And then I think in addition to that, guard play. And I think both teams are clicking, but Louisville's defense is really clicking.
To turn the table on you a little bit there, Adam, I've got a few questions about football for you. I want to know, are you going to New Orleans to see the Sugar Bowl on January 2nd? Also, does Louisville have a chance to beat Florida? And would simply keeping the game close serve as somewhat of a victory for Louisville?
I really hope they're not thinking that. I think on the national stage, if it's a game you're going to be hearing about, I can guarantee you the announcers are going to be saying, wow, Charlie Strong has really done something. This is a fantastic game plan. I think the worst-case situation, obviously, is a blowout in which Teddy Bridgewater turns over the ball. Because if Teddy Bridgewater plays well and you lose, you at least have the face of your program for the next upcoming few months in the summer and then the season getting a lot of hype. I think it'll be a victory for the fans. I really think this team wants to win, just having talked to them for the last few days, and I really hope they're not. I have not heard one person say, we just want to contend. I asked Mario Benavides and I asked a few other guys, what do you want the message to be after this game? And they all just said respect. And I think they're going to go ham. But I think if they're going in just to keep it close, then it's going to be a serious issue. Because that's when you're fighting for a loss, and who does that?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Are you going to make the trip to New Orleans?
I am. I'm actually going down on the 26th which means I'm missing the UK U of L game.
Oh, wow.
Which is somewhat saddening, to be honest.
I believe it. I know you're a big basketball proponent, and you know you love the football as well. But
But
Adam,
that means that you're going to be getting. But that means you're going to be getting the most in-depth Sugar Bowl coverage on WHAS 11. Excuse me, and on Twitter at WHAS 11 Lefko. I'm going to be with the team the entire time, so at least I'll have that. And I really can't complain about being New Orleans during New Year's. You know what I mean?
No, you can't.
Yeah, and I know, Kelly, you're going to head down the day after New Year's, so you'll miss the events down there on Bourbon Street. But, yeah, again, you can follow Adam on WHS 11 Lefko. Is that correct?
Yep, WHAS 11 Lefko.
And then, of course, WHAS 11 will have all the coverage right there for you of the Sugar Bowl, UK U of L game coming up next weekend. Adam, I appreciate you, coming on for a few minutes Sunday morning. Get back to enjoying the couch and the TV, some football, and have a good Christmas.
Oh, absolutely, my man. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks, man. Adam Lefko, WHS 11 Sports. Great. Some guys come on and they'll give us the reach around type of thing, but Lefko nails it straight.
I've never really. Yeah, I've never had the feeling that Lefko was doing the reach around on us, which is good. I mean, that is not a good feeling when you're Sunday morning, you're trying to have a conversation, someone drops a reach around on you. I mean, that is a bad deal.
That's what I'm saying. So I really appreciate the straight shooters. It's a fantastic thing. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline, KentuckySports.co/TV. Come check us out. We're having a great video show. Matt McCarthy, E-Pose Vox, doing great highlight works over there. And, of course, 1450thesportsbuzz.com. It keeps going, Kelly. LivingForLess.org, great deals on there. The Weekend Sports Buzz is always presented to you by LivingForLess.org. $40 value, $15. Matt's pulling it up right now on the video show, the website. You can get on there and check it out yourself. Scroll down there a little bit, Matt. Roosters, I want to read some of them off. We have Roosters, Beer Nose Pizzas is on there. I can't really see anything else. Bistro 42 out in Prospect. Beautiful place to, been out there for a few of Nick Coffey's shows in the afternoon. Matt, you want to read a couple more? What's some deals we have going on?
Angio's Italian Restaurant's on there as well. $15 is the price, retail value of $45. Brandon's Barbecue Pizza, which is delicious. We also have Chex Cafe, $15 for $40 worth of value. Gaddy's Pizza, all for all the little children's around there. That's the place to be.
All the little children's.
Yeah, all the children's.
Plural.
And then, of course, you got all your golf locations and places, but it's winter right now. But get them right now while they're cheap.
Yeah, really, get them on there. You can use them for next year, I'm sure. It's livingforless.org. And one more mention again, because it is Christmas time. Send to SantaCall.com and Big Brothers Big Sisters. You got to get it out there again. On sendtosantacall.com, you can send a call from Santa Claus to your child. This state-of-the-art site features incredible voice recognition software, and you can choose from 3 different types of calls: Merry Christmas, Be Good, or the meaning of Christmas. You can personalize the call with the child's name, sender's name, location, and gift from their wish list. SendASantaCall.com, enter donation code BBBS at the checkout, and a portion of the proceeds will go directly to Big Brothers Big Sisters. You can also access the site by clicking on the Santa Claus directly from our website, 1450thesportsbuzz.com. And again, don't forget to enter the donation code BBBS at checkout, and a portion will go directly to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Glad to be a part of them. Duke and Ryan hooking it up with 1450 and Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's a great program, great charity out there. Kelly, we got a couple minutes here before we have to hit our final break, and we're going to stick with the UK U of L. Let's go ahead and start talking battle progress, because obviously you won't be on until it's over.
That's true. I won't be on until a week from today. 6 days until
6
the game.
days.
My kids keep asking me how many days, and they do every day. How many days till Christmas? What I say to that is,
6.
You guys are confused. That's not important. How many days till the Louisville, Kentucky basketball game is where it's at? And there's 6. So you're right. I'm sticking with my prediction of Louisville winning by 6 points. I think that the deciding factor will be not whether or not Gorky Jane comes in and blocks 10 shots. I don't think that'll happen. Whether or not he comes in and plays. If he has a presence, even if he plays 15 minutes.
Presence on defense is good.
I think that matters, even on offense.
I agree. I totally agree.
You can throw the ball in the post, and you can expect that he will not turn it over.
Even Shagari Aline, when he stepped in, was a presence in the paint because he was 7 foot.
Yeah,
he could block your shot.
That's huge. on offense, too. I mean, Stephen Van Treese hustles. He avoids making bad mistakes, but he is not offensively even what Gorky is. So I think that as far as offensively, I don't want us to – I think Adam made a great point that if we rely on Russ scoring 30 again, we could be in trouble.
No way Russ scores 30 again. He didn't score – I mean, he came back – exactly what Lefko said. If he scores 30, you're in trouble. It means he's the only guy making buckets. Look back to the Final Four game. Look back to the Final Four game. I like to pick the first game off scratch.
Okay.
That was early in the season. I'll go back to the Final Four game as what Louisville played more as a team, and it was a defensive front. Kentucky obviously was just playing very well that day. I think if Louisville comes out, Peyton Siva is extending the offense and passing and getting to people into places. And if Peyton Siva plays well, I think Louisville does give trouble. It does give Kentucky a lot of issues and probably does have a good chance to win this game. My opinion, though, Kelly.
Okay.
It's Kentucky.
Why?
If Gorgie Zhang is out, Kentucky wins this game. If Gorgie Zhang is in, I still think Kentucky wins this game. I think they can compete with Louisville. I don't think Louisville is as dominant as yes, they beat teams by 30, 40. So is Kentucky. And I don't think they're as dominant as people think either against those smart teams. Obviously, they're not. They lost to Baylor. They're not even ranked right now. Louisville's number 5. They're a great team, and I do think Louisville will make a Final Four run, depending on what the bracket sets up. You can't tell till then, but I don't know. I just think Calipari's got the number at Kentucky.
You referenced the most recent game. You said we can kind of scratch the regular season game. So I'm bringing up the box score here of when they played in the Final Four.
Okay.
Here's who scored points for Kentucky. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Marcus Teague, Terrence Jones, Deron Lamb, Anthony Davis. Kyle Wilcher scored 5 points while playing 8 minutes, and also Darius Miller.
That's a good number, 5 points in 8 minutes.
That is, but he only played 8 minutes. So, I mean,
correlate to 40 minutes, so that's about 30 points. I'll take that. Not bad.
That's true.
I mean, go by numbers.
Okay, all I'm saying is you look over at the Louisville bench,
okay,
or the Louisville box score. Chris Smith, Kyle Couric.
Not there.
Just
like Kentucky.
Peyton Siva, Shaden Mahanon, Gorgie Jang, Russ Smith, Wayne Blackshear, Swapshire's gone.
Obviously,
so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys who played in the game in the Final Four.
Blackshear had 14 minutes, minimal time, so I wouldn't even count him.
He scored 9 points. He actually had a big...
Just like Wilcher then. Great stat line, right?
Okay, so... all I'm saying is Louisville has
experience.
Experience.
Is that what you're saying is going to come back? Are you going back to the national media perspective of, Kentucky's just they can't do it. They're just so young.
I'll be the first guy to admit I've made a lot of blunders when evaluating the way Calipari does things. When many people said to me, John Wall is signing with Kentucky, he's going to be the number 1 pick overall after this new one-and-done rule. I said, you're stupid. I said, that's ridiculous.
Years in advance.
I know. People were telling me that, and I was laughing at him, and I was dead wrong. I said the same stuff about Anthony Davis. I said lots of stuff like that.
I would have never expected Kelly to be irrational towards UK at all.
To be what?
A little irrational towards the UK. I
can be. So I'm not saying that what I'm suggesting is always accurate or ever accurate. But
so
all that being said, I'm still going with the fact that Louisville has a lot more experience.
Okay.
I think that does matter. I think that this Kentucky team is not as good as the team was last year.
I will tell you, no, it's definitely not as good as this team last year. If anybody says it is, you're insane. You're insane. You're not watching basketball. It is on the road. It is in it'll be a loud and hostile environment. Louisville, the fans do go crazy for this rivalry game. I will say that. That might be bad because obviously if you look, Kentucky lost to Notre Dame on the road. They cut it. They didn't have a point guard. That's a hostile environment, more hostile than the Yum Center would be. They blacked it out. They were prepared for this game like it was their national championship.
More hostile than the Yum Center will be.
It's a smaller arena. They have more students. It's more of a South. It's not no chop to the Yum Center. The Yum Center is great. South Bend.
The Yum Center is great.
South Bend. It's a small arena. You can compact it in, and they're just.
It was a hostile environment. I'll give you that.
Regardless, at least they've had that experience at least already once. They almost came back and fought without a point guard. I think Kentucky can win this game. They have to shoot well. So does Louisville, but I think if Kentucky shoots the ball good enough, not even great, good, they will win this game because they're bigger inside. And I don't think Zhang's going to play.
Okay.
I'm not a doctor.
If that happens and he does not play, Then
You're
I
a little
agree.
more- you're a
That's
little-
huge. I'm not changing my prediction.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
think the fact that Peyton Siva has been coming on strong. He was 1 for 3 from three-point line last
Yeah.
night, 5 for 8 the night before.
Mhm.
On the season, he's shooting 38%.
He
He's
plays
making
well.
1.4 threes a game. He doesn't even have to make any three-pointers this game. The fact that Harrow and whoever is guarding him has to respect the fact that he can shoot out
He's
there.
not
It's
the-
different than last year.
Siva's not the preseason All-American, as all the national media thought, though. He's not the All-American right now. Not the first teamer, at least.
What do you mean by that?
What has he done to be a first-team
I'll tell you
All-American?
what he's done. He's the starting point guard for the team, one of the best teams in the country. He's averaging 11.4 points a game, 6.3 assists a game, 2.3 steals a game.
That's not all
Those are big
first-team
numbers.
All-American numbers.
But it can be if
Yeah.
you're playing for maybe the best team in the country.
Yeah, but he's not. That's the thing. Obviously, if
We
you wanna
lost
go
to
ahead and-
Duke. I
we lost.
mean-
I don't think Duke's the best team in the country. And
Well, then who is?
I think
Someone has to
I
be the
think
best team in the
Indiana
country.
is.
Okay, well, they lost to Butler.
I hate Indiana. I don't care.
You don't care?
No, I don't.
Okay. That's all right.
I don't.
You don't think there's a best team in the
Kentucky
country? Or
lost
you
to
think
Vanderbilt
Indiana
last year.
is?
Kentucky lost to Vanderbilt last year.
They did.
I guess Vanderbilt's the best team in the country, right?
So you think Indiana's the best
I
team
think
in the
Indiana's
country?
best team in the
National
country.
writers disagree with you. They think Indiana's
I don't like
sixth.
national writers anyway, so I don't care.
Okay. Well, that's all right. I think that Duke is the number one team in the country right now, clearly. They beat Kentucky.
Go by the national media.
I think they know what they're talking about.
That's fine.
Call me a radical.
That's fine. They're not going to win a
I think
championship.
that Duke has beat Kentucky. They have beat Louisville. They beat Ohio State. In my opinion, Duke is clearly
Maybe
the number
Ohio
one team.
State's not as good as everybody thinks, maybe.
They're ranked number 4. I guess
Kansas
that
just
doesn't-
went into Ohio State yesterday and beat them.
Mhm.
I think Kansas is a Final Four team. Anyways, I said that before the season started. Regardless, I don't care. Here's my Final Four for you. You want my Final Four?
Sure.
I'll give
Drop
you
it
3
on
of them
me.
because I don't know the fourth. Here's my 3. I think Syracuse will make a run to the Final Four.
Okay.
I just do. I don't know. I don't like Syracuse. I don't like them at all. I think Syracuse, Kansas, and Indiana are 3 Final Four teams. That 4th spot, I don't know yet. I know we got to hit a break though.
Yeah, we're getting a little off topic here, and that's all right. Some good national college basketball talk. We'll be back with more from the Weekend Sports Buzz.
You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe she'd been drinking too much eggnog, and we begged her not to go, but she forgot her medication.
This is a surprise, Clark. This is just a real nice surprise. Just a real nice surprise. Here's a little list, alphabetical, starting with Catherine. And if it wouldn't be too much, I'd like to get something for you, Clark. Something really nice. Huh? This is a surprise, Clark. This is just a real nice surprise. Just a real nice surprise. Here's a little list, alphabetical, starting with Catherine. And if it wouldn't be too much, I'd like to get something for you, Clark. Something really nice. Huh?
We're back here to the final segment of the Weekend Sports Buzz, being brought to you back by a great Christmas vacation segment there with Cousin Eddie, one of my favorites. We were trying to find a Bad Santa rejoin, Kelly over here, but there's no clean Bad Santa version.
Even though it is on network television, I know there's got to be a clean Bad Santa clip out there. I couldn't find it. If you're playing this weekend in fantasy football, that means you've done well. That means you've had a winning strategy. This segment is brought to you by Jamie Cox of Keller Williams, Louisville East. For a winning strategy, when you buy or sell a home, allow Jamie Cox of Keller Williams, Louisville East to put together a game-winning strategy for you. With interest rates near an all-time low, there's never been a better time to buy or upgrade. For personal attention, effective marketing, and results, contact Jamie Cox at 502-593-5454 or email Jamie directly at jamie@thederbycityrealtor.com. That's JAMEY at thederbycityrealtor.com. Jamie's a big contributor to the 1450 station and KFFSC. We appreciate everything Jamie does for us.
Yeah, you'll be sticking around with us through the next year as well. We're excited to have Jamie aboard. A couple scores rundown from yesterday, college basketball. We had an upset, top three upset. Syracuse was beat by Temple, and we mentioned it with Lefko earlier in the show. I predicted that yesterday on the D Huff and Nasty show. Great prediction. Arizona beat up on Eastern Tennessee. Nothing special there. Kansas went and beat Ohio State 74-66. Kansas is a good team. They got guards. They have experience, as you like to talk about, and they have a big man, Jeff Withey. Louisville obviously took care of Western Kentucky. Kansas State upset of Florida. How about that, Kelly? 67-61. Kansas State's 9-2. Maybe that's an unranked team that people should be starting to look at.
They've always got talent. They always land some of the biggest
Michael Beasley,
prospects out there.
One of the best players since 2000, according to ESPN.
Real interesting, really, how Huggins actually spent a little bit of time there. Yeah. He signed Beasley
and Bill Walker.
Bill Walker, that's true. I think he's now maybe with the Celtics.
He was with them. I don't. He may still be. I'm not for sure. SEC game here. Who Louisville took on earlier this year. Missouri looked a lot better yesterday. They beat Illinois. Phil Pressey had a solid little game there. Good ball club. That was a 12-10 little border war matchup. Cincinnati took care of Wright State. Tubby. 12-1. Tubby Smith ranked 13th in the country. Minnesota handles his Lafayette. How about that? 12-1 Minnesota Gophers. A very good ball team. They have a great big man in Ibakwe. Good guard play. That's a team you really have to watch out for if you get them in the tournament and wind up in the next weekend or so. Butler won. San Diego State won. Michigan State took care of Texas. I don't know what's going on with them. Oklahoma State won. North Carolina won. Nothing really on the schedule today. Kelly, what do you have? Do we have NFL games coming up? I mean, it's Christmas.
We do have quite a few NFL games coming up. You know that today, as I've talked about quite a bit today, the Bengals play the Steelers in Pittsburgh. If the Bengals win, they're secured a spot in the playoffs, whether it be a wild card spot or if they manage to beat Baltimore the following week and somehow actually win the AFC North. We also have a 1 o'clock p.m. Minnesota is playing at Houston. Minnesota, has the Adrian Peterson obviously going for the all-time rushing record. That game's at 1 o'clock p.m. today. What do we want to do? Do we want to pick games?
I'm not a big on picking NFL games. There's just
it's
so
tough to do
many
that.
of them. We just, down the list. I think, one game since it's local, Cincinnati-Pittsburgh, I think Cincinnati's going to go on the road and win that game and clinch that playoff spot. Another team, we are here in Indiana, here in Jeffersonville, the location of 1450 Studio, the Colts. Playoff-bound Colts, rookie quarterback Andrew Luck, taking on Kansas City today. I think Indianapolis will take care of them as well, moving into the playoffs. It's crazy, though, that both the local teams are heading to the playoffs if the Bengals win.
Oh, yeah, that would be great for the area.
A lot of big fans
like I said,
around
the
here.
Bengals would be 2 years in a row going to the playoffs. In my lifetime, I haven't really seen that. I've been very impressed, actually, with Mike Brown and the way the Bengals organization has been ran lately. They stuck with Marvin Lewis, though a lot of people, despite the fact that a lot of people actually wanted him fired at many different points. I'm very happy that they've shown the confidence in Lewis to stick with him. It's coming on almost 10 years since he's been there. And that's one thing that I think great franchises do. I hate the Steelers with a passion, but they've only had like 3 coaches in their history. And I think that when you have that type of consistency, you can develop consistency with the coordinators. They've had Dick LeBeau as their defensive coordinator for a long time. I think what the Bengals have right now is Mike Zimmer, a great defensive coordinator. If we can keep him around, we can continue to make our defense build, and we don't have to scratch the whole scheme and start from, say 1 year we're going to be 3-4, the next we'll go to 4-3, and then kind of switch the scheme. I think that really sets you back, and I think Mike Brown has shown the ability to learn from his past mistakes, and he's sticking with the coach. I love it.
That's good. There's your little NFL Sunday update there. Fantasy football players, if you're in the championship, maybe of your league, you better, next hour, 7 minutes are crucial to you. I know we didn't talk too much about it today. It's been a full show, it seems like. I mean, we do a lot of UK U of L talk for the next weekend, and obviously we did Lefko, our last segment. But how about your Cards last night, Kelly? I know we don't have too much time left, but they handled WKU as our Harlem Globetrotter ticket winner, Daniel Boone. Yeah, I'm not lying. Daniel Boone said earlier, how about the dunks, by Russ Smith? He threw one down. Louisville looked pretty good last night against the in-state foe at times, but down low. It was. We didn't pay too close attention to the smaller stats.
I was kind of busy
stats.
admiring people's sweaters, I'll be honest.
No.
I was a little caught up in the moment. But what I did see was, our man Shane Bohannon, 14 points.
Your
I noticed. No, our man. You're a big Shane Bohannon fan.
Yeah.
You like Shane Bohannon. You like how he came out and predicted predicted that Louisville would
I like
go
Montrezl Harrell, but I don't like Shane Bohannon.
Who else do you like on the Louisville team?
You want to know what Cardinals I like?
I do.
I like, this. Everybody knows this from listening. I like, confidence, cocky players.
Shane.
Swagger.
Shane.
No, not him. I don't like him. Kevin Ware. I like Kevin Ware.
Okay.
I like Peyton Siva. You can't not like Peyton Siva if what's he ever done to you.
Even Dan Patrick's.
Dan Patrick's. And that is his real name for anybody listening and checks out KentuckySports.co.
We had some people send an email complaining about his obvious UK bias, and
that's all he does.
They said I think they were joking, said Dan Patrick's could even sue you. He can't sue him. That's his real name.
You have to go take his name away from his, have his mom change his name or something.
Dan Patrick, the famous guy, is his actual legal name is not really Dan Patrick.
Oh.
His actual name is Daniel Pugh. His middle name is also Patrick. So,
Tell it
if anyone's going to get sued, guys, let's be realistic. It might be the real Dan Patrick.
I got Peyton Siva,
Okay.
Kevin Ware, Montrezl Harrell, and Gorgie Zhang. Other than that, I really don't like anybody else. Who do you like on Kentucky? That's a good question.
That is a good question.
They're all new.
It's hard. Yeah, exactly.
You got to like Wiltshire.
I like Wiltshire. I liked the video I saw of him and Cauley Stein doing the rapping.
Yep.
They seem like they're nice guys.
Good guys.
It's hard for I don't know as much about Noel.
I'm sure most guys on Louisville are great guys. Just as of what I know of on the court play, that's what we're going with.
Let me see who else is on Kentucky's.
I'm assuming you, as most of my Louisville colleague friends, don't like Archie Goodwin too much. He seems to be on the hatred list. The naughty list.
I guess I'll reserve really having a strong opinion against anyone on
I don't hate anybody on Louisville. I don't like you. I guess it would put it that way.
You don't like me?
No, I never liked you. Like I don't know. You gotta like Wilcher. You gotta like. I guess that's all for you.
It's tough. I mean, when the guys are coming and going and you don't know any of them, you always have Jared Polson. You always have Hood. I guess I like those guys.
Why? Because they've been around? Because you don't know anything about them, just like you don't know
I
anything
know they're
about Tim
from the
Henderson?
state of Kentucky. I know Tim Henderson. I mean, I know some things about Tim Henderson. What are you trying to say? I like guys like
I'm trying
that.
to say
I like
that
guys who
Bull
are
fans
from
that-
the state of Kentucky and play for Kentucky. I think that's cool.
Cool.
But that was their dreams. Polson and John Hood, they wanted to play for Kentucky. I don't think they would do it any other way. They could be contributing for a top 25 team somewhere, right?
No.
They could. Polson could. He's contributing for Kentucky.
Well, it depends on what you
could be
mean by
play-
contributing for a top 25 team.
I mean playing
A couple
and
minutes,
maybe
biting
even
some time.
starting.
No. Jared Polson is not a top 25 starting
He
point.
started games for Kentucky this year.
Because we didn't have a point guard when you're playing a high school team. Big
Okay.
deal.
All I'm saying is I bet he could get more minutes and really maybe enhance his professional career afterward. I don't know about that, actually.
I
I'll
highly
take
doubt
that
that.
back. He
You're
could get more
insane if you
exposure
think
for
that.
himself by racking up, 10
He
points,
is
5 assists
he
for
is
some
not
other Division
going-
One. He could go to Northwestern with Jared Swapshire, and that's not a top 25 team, but he could play Division
top
One basketball.
25.
I did, so I'll recant that.
You've
statement.
been recanting a lot in the last 5 minutes.
That's fair. I'm okay with that.
Flip-flopper.
I think that it's cool that they stayed in the state and they're playing for the team that they grew up
That is
being
cool.
fans of.
That is
like Mark
awesome.
Krebs,
It's
stuff like
awesome.
that is cool.
That's cool. But
So I like those guys.
What I was talking about was a lot of the people I know, we love our 4-year guys. We get to know them, like a Gorgie and Peyton.
Not
Shut
sure.
up. No, you don't. You watch them on a basketball court for 2 hours a couple of days a week. You don't know them. You know Peyton Siva throws his Hawaii stuff out occasionally. You don't know him. I know Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Anthony Davis probably more than you all know Gorgie Shane because he's out on TV more. He's out there in the world. That's just dumb to say that's one reason you like Louisville better. I know you just had it. I'm just using a general of my Bull friends consensus.
Is that we do like to have guys stick around
You
and
try
get
to make
know
fun
them
of one
over
and
the-
dones because we don't know them. Well, guess what?
That's
You
fair.
don't know your four and done.
That's fair. I can see where you're coming from with that. If we could have signed Anthony Davis, would we have done it?
Would you have been mad? No.
I'm not. Okay. But it is cool to have guys like
it's cool. We got Kyle Wilcher. He's going to
Terrence
be
Farley,
4
or,
years.
guys who stick around for a
Yeah.
long time. I think that is
Terrence Farley.
Yeah.
Come on. That's like me saying I wish Shea Ray Thomas was starting for Kentucky still for 4 years.
I don't know where what that has to do with anything. I didn't say that I wish anyone started.
You
for
know
Louisville.
Terrence Farley?
I think it's cool.
You know him, don't you?
I think it's cool having guys stick around and play for 4 years.
It is cool.
And I think that they'll forever be local celebrities to an extent, and I think stuff like that's cool. I like those guys. I'm not saying I would dislike having a one and done. I do think it's neat having guys like Kyle Couric come around and play 4
I'm with
years.
you on that, but just the argument I get into a lot is you don't know anybody. You don't know any of your players either. You just watch them on a basketball court.
We have seen them progress over the course of 4 years. Stuff like that is neat.
We don't need to watch professionals progress. Anyways, it's been a great show. Thanks, Adam Lefkoe, Farrell Elliott, Daniel Boone. Congrats on the tickets, and of course, Dave Spelker and Bite Magazine for giving those away. Next weekend, heated weekend. We're going to talk Sugar Bowl with Kelly on Sunday, recapping the Battle of the Bluegrass. Myself and Mark next Saturday. We'll be breaking down the game. Have a great Christmas.
Go Cards.
Go Cats.